The topic that I'm going to discuss is about polar coordinates. How to plot points with polar coordinates. The familiar XY coordinate system is often referred to as a system of rectangular coordinates because a point is described in terms of its horizontal and vertical distances from the origin, like this one. So for this point, it is described by these coordinates x and y. It's an ordered pair, which means na dili pwede ma-interchange ang values. So it must be x and then y. So how to plot this point? Of course, you start from the origin and then x distance. So since nas first quadrant, then move ka to the right. That will be your x and then move up. That will be your y value. Okay. Mao ni ang rectangular coordinates. An alternative description of a point in the xy plane consists of specifying the distance r from the point to the origin and an angle theta in radians measured from the positive x-axis counterclockwise to the ray connecting the point and the origin. We have this one illustration. Okay, this point has coordinates r theta. Polar coordinates na. Ordered pair happen. So dili pwede, you cannot interchange r and theta. So r is the distance of the point from the pole. Pole siya. Pag polar system, pole ne. Pag rectangular system, it's origin. So we have this one r. We call this one polar distance. And then theta, which is measured counterclockwise based sa positive x-axis. Theta is called the polar angle. We describe the point by the ordered pair r theta and refer to r and theta as polar coordinates for the point. For convenience, we allow r to be negative with the understanding that in this case, the point is in the opposite direction from that indicated by the angle theta. Same also sa rectangular coordinates. This is positive x. Like, pag positive 5, this one, this direction. Pag negative 5, opposite direction. Same also sa polar system. For this angle theta, this is positive r. But if the sign is negative, then i-plot nimo sa opposite direction. So, let's have this sample problem. Plot the points with the indicated polar coordinates r theta and determine the corresponding rectangular coordinates xy for these points A to F. Now, regarding rectangular coordinates, this is very easy. Using your calculator, there are features sa calcio na you can directly convert polar coordinates to rectangular coordinates. We have the pole and rect feature sa calcio. Eh, So our focus for this one is on how to plot these points sa polar system. So same with rectangular system, we'll have this one. Two lines, perpendicular lines. For rectangular, this is x-axis and y-axis. And then x equal to 1, 2, 3, and so on. For y, 1, 2, 3. Or x negative, negative 1, negative 2, and so with y. But for polar system, since arta, polar distance or radius, then circle itong i-draw with radius equal to 1. A uniform interval, r equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, or r equal to 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. Depende sa points that you want to plot. Now, in this case, the values of r are all integers. Highest value is 4, so we'll just have to draw 4 circles here. This one. R equal to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, for the angles, draw sad ka. Ang interval, depende. No? You can use 5 degrees na interval like 5 degrees, 10, 15, 20, 25, or by 10 degrees, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and so on. Okay, let's just use 15 degrees na interval. This one. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, up to 360. No. And then label na to. Pwede degrees, pwede sa radians. So, pag 15 degrees, this one, 15 degrees in radians, I just use conversion factor pi over 180. 15 degrees times pi over 180, that's pi over 12. This one, pi over 12, and so on. Okay? Like this one. This is 90 plus 15, 105. Ba? So, 105 times conversion factor pi over 180 gives you 7 over 12 pi. Okay. Now, let's plot this one. 2, 0. Focus first angle. Angle is 0. So, this one. So, for 0, this direction is positive r. Positive r na siya. And then negative r na siya. And since r is positive 2, then dili na tayo plot. So, from the pole, draw kaya, and to the right, that's positive 2. Letter B, 3 pi over 2. So, for angle pi over 2, diri ang focus ni mo, pi over 2. This is positive r. And positive 3 man, so diri. Letter C, negative 3 pi over 2. Still, pi over 2 pero negative 3 man. So, sa opposite direction may plot dire. Negative 3. Okay. Pi over 2 man ka. So, for pi over 2, this is positive r. Pero negative r man. So, sa opposite direction. Letter D, 2 pi. Pi. No? So, this direction, pi. This is positive r. Positive 2 man. So, there is. And then letter E, 4 pi over 3. Pi over 3 is this. So, another rin positive r. Positive 4 man sa dire. And then last, negative 2 pi over 6. Pi over 6 is this one. Pi over 6. Positive r na siya. Pero kay negative 2 man, so sa opposite direction na ito i-plot. Dire. Negative 2, negative 1, negative 2. Okay. So, this is how you plot points with polar coordinates. So, on converting coordinates, rectangular to polar or polar to rectangular, okay, this is how you will convert points. From the figure shown, this one, it is a simple matter to find the rectangular coordinates xy of a point specified in polar coordinates as r theta. So from the usual definitions for sine theta and cosine theta, we get one. Meaning, if ang given is r theta sa kanina point with radial distance r and angle theta, it's easy to find the rectangular coordinates x and y. You just use trigonometry. Yeah. Trigonometric functions are there. From trigonometry, you have this one. X equal to r cosine theta and y equal to r sin theta. Given polar coordinates, you can get rectangular coordinates using these relations. But if given ang rectangular, how do we get polar coordinates? Based from this figure. So given x and y, how do we solve for r? I will just use Pythagorean theorem. So by Pythagorean theorem, we have this. And then for theta, how do we get theta given x and y? We use tangent function. So tangent theta is y over x. So this is one way of converting coordinates rectangular to polar or polar to rectangular. For a shorter solution, you can use your calculator. You can use those features which I mentioned earlier, pol and rect, okay, para ma-convert nimo. Okay. Let's try this one. Sketch the graph of the polar equation r equal to 2 minus 2 sine theta. Now, one way of getting values of r is to substitute several values of theta from 0 to 360. Okay. And you can use intervals of your choice like interval of 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 15 degrees. And to do that, you can use calc na functions na calcu. Just input this one, 2 minus 2 sine theta, and then press calc, substitute values of theta, you get values of r. Or you can use the other function, mode 7, table. I am referring to Casio 911, 991 ES na model or similar models that has features na similar sa table. The result is this. With interval of 15 degrees from 0 to 360, these are the values of r. So when theta is 0, 2 minus 2 sine 0, it's 2. R is equal to 2. And the rest will follow. Okay. Up to 360. So next, when you plot these points, first is to identify the biggest value of r so that you will know the number of circles that you are going to draw. Now in this case, the biggest value of r is 4. So it means na we will draw 4 circles. That is if ang interval sa value sa r is 1. By 1, r equal to 1, 2, 3, and 4. But if ang interval is 0.5, then you will draw 8 circles. 0.5, 1, 1.5, until 4. R equal to 4. So it depends on you. Let's have this one. 4 circles, interval of 1, R equal to 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then plot na to. When theta is 0, R equals to this one, 15, 1.48. So 15, no? This is 1, 1.48, somewhere here. Pag 30, it's 1. So 30, 1. Pag 45.5857, dere. 60 degrees, this one 60. It's 0.26. There, 0.26. 75.0681. Almost equal to 0. And then for 90, it's 0. Okay. So that you will not get confused, i-connect nimo ang points quadrant by quadrant. So for the first quadrant, i-connect na to from 0 to 90. So 0, 15, 30. This is the curve from 0 to 90. And the next second quadrant, 105 starts at 105.06 here and 120.26 and 150 we have 150. Sorry, 135 ay 135.5857 and then 150 you have 1. This is 150. 165 1.4. 180 it's 2. Connected sad. So we ended on in a point of from 0 to 90. So the end point sa first na curve is there, first quadrant, and then you connect it up to 180. And then let's continue. Third quadrant, 195, 2.5176. 1, 2, 3. So 2.5 somewhere here. And then 210, 3. 225, 3.4 somewhere here. 240, 3.7 somewhere here. 255, 3.9, almost equal to 4. And 270, 4. Connection name for the third quadrant, 180, 195, up to 270. And then last quadrant, 285, 3.9, 300, 3.7, 3.4, symmetrical. And then 330, you have 3. And then 345, 2.5. And then pag 360, you have 2. So, connection naman. So, this is the graph, eh? Mao ni ang graph na to. The graph of r equal to 2 minus 2 sine theta. And we call this one cardioid. Okay, cardioid. So, what is important here is you'll be able to plot correctly the points. So, to avoid confusion, you plot the points quadrant by quadrant. First quadrant, second quadrant, third, and then fourth quadrant. To avoid confusion. Okay. Another one. Sketch the graph of the polar equation r equal to 2 sine 2 theta. Same sa previous na problem. To get the values of r, you can use mode 7 or table, or you can just use calc na function. Okay, and this is the result niya. Sa mode table. Mode 7, sorry. Mode 7. Or table na function. Next, identify the biggest value of r. In this case, it's 2. Positive, negative 2. So, you can draw 2 circles only. R equal to 1 and R equal to 2. Or, you may opt to, or you may try an interval of 0.5. So, you will have 4 circles. 0.5, 1, 1.5, and 2. Okay, this one. 0.5, 1, 1.5, and 2. And then we'll plot. Okay. For theta equal to 0, r equals 0. And then for theta 15, r equals 1.51. For 30, 1.732. Here, 1.732. And then sa 45, 2. So in this case, i-plot na to by pag 45 degrees na ako. So 0, 15, 30, 45. Ano yung graph niya? So they can again next 60 1.732 75 1 this is 75 so 1 ka and then sa 90 it goes back to 0 so i-connect nimo you will have this okay next 105 negative 1 take note this is 105 and negative 1 man so sa opposite direction i-plot here mamo ni ang negative r aning 105 yung angle so negative 1 and then 120 negative 1.7 this 120 pero negative 1.732 man so sa opposite side nito 1.732 and then 135 negative 2 this is 135 pero negative man so dire na ito i-plot negative 2 remember na dire nag-end atong graph ha 0 to 45 and then 60 75 90 so dire ta mag-start 90 105 okay 135 sige 150 so this is 150 but R is negative 1.732 man. So instead na dire plot sa opposite. And then 165 negative 1. 165 no. Supposed to be 1 negative man sa this. And then 180 0. So connect na po din mo. Next 195 1. 1 this is 195 positive man. Positive 1. So there's a plot 1. 210 1.7 this is 210 1.7 is this 225 positive 2 so i-connect po na to dili nag-end di ba and then 240 1.732 255 we have 1 this is 255 1 270 0 so there is a and connect okay and then last negative 285 this is 285 pero negative 1 man so there's a plot opposite man isa this is negative r ha kaysa 285 positive r man eh so negative r is this direction negative 1 and 300 negative 1 this is 300 pero negative man so there's a plot negative 1.732 315 this one 315 negative 2 so there's a plot i-connect siya na to and then 330 this is 330 pero negative 1.732 man so there is a 345 this is 345 negative 1 so instead na there 1 there is a negative 1 and then 360 it goes back to 0 if connect na to ah. So this is the graph of r equal to 2 sine 2 theta okay and ang tawagan is a four-leaf rose. So again, it's very important that you'll you'll plot the points correctly because um, other parts polar system like getting the length of the arc or the area enclosed by the curve, um, the boundaries are important. Values of values of theta nga mga results sa boundaries sa curve which will serve as the limits. That is why importante ang pag-plot sa polar pag pag-sketch sa polar equation. Okay, so I hope that you have learned something sa presentation. Thank you for watching.